Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Zombie Month. We are in Camp Champions October 2025, and the free tier card is Sheamus The Ghoulic Warrior. Man, he looks awesome. He looks awesome. He looks cool. He looks like he fell into a campfire, had some young adults around, and they were, roasting hot dogs and marshmallows. He's got that kind of classic 80s puffy vest slasher thriller thing going on. Like, this is cool. This is a cool look. His card art is awesome. They really did a great job. This is visually appealing. He is a chaotic acrobat. All right, so he's going to have access to the It's Time, Healer's Steel, and Neutralize boss breakers. I find that Healer's Steel is usually more useful than the other two, but Chaotic hasn't had a really solid use in a long time since they nerfed Neutralize and the boss shields. Is what it is. He is a coach. Trap gems do 100% more damage. The theme for this month with the zombies will be trap gem damage entourage. And the higher you go up the tier rarity scale, the more effective this will be. This is not a unique ability in the game. There are cards in the game that do increase trap gem damage already. And there's one in the game that a lot of people have that is significantly more than this one. So you'll use this as an entourage every once in a while, but it is not going to be your go-to. Kind of is what it is. His links, they did change the links around. Year of the Zombie is going to be for every current year zombie. So this round is 25, so we'll get this for a year. And they've announced that for 26, the 26 zombies will be able to use this tag link. And it's a good tag link. Any color moves start with 5 more move points. Anytime you can replace MP up entourage, you're doing significantly more damage. You can also protect yourself against troll builds of MP down stuff. This is very useful. I like it a lot. And then the zombies tag link also changed. This is any zombie, as far as I know, in the game. Any color move starting MP reduced by 2 for your opponent. Also useful in Showdown if you can slow down your opponent, especially if they are overhyped. You've got a better chance of success. And then there is the modern era tag link. Gems do 5% more damage. That's a negligible increase. Every little bit helps. But boy, this is a little bit. All right. Let's look over here at the stats. These will be relevant. Obviously, he's an acro, so his blue gem damage is going to be the highest. His second most impactful gem will be purple. And then his tertiary gems are green and red. And this will make sense here in a little bit. Yeah. So I figured the way that I would do this, instead of working from worst to best or best to worst or my personal favorites or anything like that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the rarity, right? I'm going to go through move sets that work at 3-star or 2-star, 3-star, 4-star, 5-star, etc. And on each one of the move sets that appears as you go up through the rarity, we'll show off the move set, how it works, and we will talk about the mechanics behind it and what makes it do the damage. Okay. So starting off, we're going to use the 2-star move set, which is also going to be his 3-star and 4-star move set. Okay. So this will be a move set that is useful all the way up to 5-star. And that many of us will use for the majority of this month while we are still dealing with Evo tokens, and have the ability to, next month bring him up to 5-star, 6-star, stuff like that. Okay, so the first move set is going to be his color term move set, and this is available at 2-star. And we're going to kind of use a classic setup with him. This is 2 clickable, but you have to really load up on blue MP, and you need double blue plus 4 MP trainers. I don't want to go that route with the 2-stars, so we are going to use the 3-click move set with some cascade risk. All right. Take a look at the MP here. These are pretty significant, 8 and 10. Once you get anywhere past 6, I believe it starts getting very prohibitive to kind of manipulate the move flow and stuff like that. And this one is no different. If this was even 6, we might be able to do some pretty fun stuff here. But since it's 7, it kind of kind of affects. Now, I'm sure it's still possible, but we start talking about a situation where is the juice worth the squeeze? And in my opinion, in this moveset, I don't think so. Meh. Maybe I'll explore it a little bit later. For the purposes of the preview, I'm going to say I don't think so, but I think it is possible now that I'm thinking about it again. Anyway, sorry, tangent. This is the first time I'm doing this, so bear with me. There's some nerves involved. So we're going to start with a broken jaw kick, deal 525,000 damage, choose 10 gems to make into blue gems, and he's got a pretty gnarly reversal while being submitted. So it's a submission reversal. Break the submission, deal 5 million damage, and then deal 20 million bleed damage to your opponent for 2 turns. Bleed damage is unblockable, so you're going to stack 40 million bleed onto your opponent over the course of 2 turns and deal 5 million damage just by breaking the sub. A 45 million damage reversal is on the upper end of what this card can do, and it's a reversal. Super wild. We'll talk about it. Over here, we're going to use this to load the 2 blue moves. Deathless Driver, deal 525,000 damage, make 27 random gems in a color turn. And then the Pale Rider Plunge, deal 1 million damage plus 350k bonus damage for every color turn gem. These style moves deal X amount of bonus damage for every color turn gems, are unblockable damage, which is really nice. The only thing that really reduces unblockable damage that is common in the game is hype defense, okay? So you know that this is going to sail right through armor setups, tier 6 metals, the whole 9 yards. It's going to go right through it. And then finisher, deal 1 million damage, make 49 color turn gems into green gems, and pen the opponent. Here we are going to be focusing on green gem damage, which is his tertiary gem. This is the kind of the main thing that makes this moveset and the next moveset relatively weak, because we're taking such a cut on the base gem damage. We are not able to really kind of open up what type of damage we're doing here. All right. Since we're talking about the 2, 3, and 4-star entourage, I wanted to make sure that I kept the entourage as accessible as possible, really. So we're going to use nothing but a rack of accessible and common cards. These were all either given away or free of some sort or grindable through like the Showdown store or something. For the purposes of my preview videos, I'm going to assume that anything in the game that's over a year old is relatively common, except for S+ tier, content locked, or special event characters. Okay, so like zombies, older S+ tier zombies, Ghostbusters, Turtles, Rocky, stuff like that. Or things that I know just doesn't show up a lot. Things like Piper plates don't show up a lot. Drip plates, stuff like that. Okay. I think this is extremely accessible. He was the A tier in January, and his shards have been available. He's been around for a long time, and this was Hollywood Hogan is grindable. Was grindable in the Showdown loot, and I think they even put him in key loot at one point in time. So he's out there. All right. And this entourage is set up so we can get +4 green MP from Steel. We get 2 green MP from Goldberg plus any colored gems. We'll do up to 40% when he's maxed out. My account's not maxed out yet. Up to 30% more health, which is always nice. And then he'll get some kick out damage, which is also nice. These are some of my favorite trainers in the game. If you have a Hall of Fame with this long entourage ability list, make them 35k. Hollywood Hogan, anytime you match any color gems, they charge moves of that color by 2 more move points. So a 3 match turns into 5, 2 3 matches turn into 10. Our finisher just happens to be 10 MP. I hope you see where this is going. And then we are using Hall of Fame Brett for colored gem turn gems to 100% more damage. Now you can adjust this as necessary. If you have nicer stuff, use the nicer stuff. Over here with the strap, it is 100% gem damage, and then I'm using Fury 2s. I am using a 35% rainbow gem damage medal, and our substats equal out to 107. I've already preloaded the gem damage calculator with all of this in mind. If you're curious about the gem damage calculator, I will link a playlist in the description that goes over game mechanics, including the mostly definitive guide to gem damage, which goes over the spreadsheet, how it works, and how the math behind actually doing gem damage works. Okay. Over here, I am using the Devon specs. Whenever you make 6 or more color turn gems, increase all your gem damage by 50% for 1 turn, and we are making more than 6 color turn gems. And over here, this is the rarest thing that I'm going to use, which is the Punk Gauntlets. I know it's less than a year, but it has been available on several prize walls, and I think is even in feud bags, but we know how the Chest of Disappointment works. So I recognize that this is the rarest piece to this moveset. It doesn't really matter, and I'll show you why. But when you make 6 or more color turn gems, increase all your green gem or all your gem damage by 500% for 1 turn. So that's what the Punk's Gauntlets do. All right. I will not. By the way, side note. Let's run this, but I'm not going to show the sub reversal because the sub reversal is a sub reversal, right? Breaks the sub. Triggers the effect, and then it's your turn because it's a turn stealer. So reversals are what reversals are. So we are going to start with including the MP you get for yourself, 7 green, 1 blue, 1 blue. If we make 2-3 matches, we will get 10 blue MP, and that will load everything. So we're going to do that. There is slight cascade risk, but this is a relatively safe strategy. Now we're going to toss all of our color gems. If you look over at the gem damage calculator, we're expecting our green gems to do 139,338, and that's very close to what we get. There are rounding errors somewhere that I can't quite suss out yet, so my damage is always a little bit off, but not too off or bad. All right. When we toss the color turns, we are going to add 550% gem damage. So let's throw that into the calculator. That turns all of our regular gems into 391,491 damage. And then if it has a color turn symbol on it, the specialty modifier of 100% from Brett will send the gem up to 437,337. Okay, and that's roughly what we have. All right, so now we got plates triggered. We got color turns on the board. The finisher will turn all of the color turns into green, so we're going to hope that we break all of them, and it looks like a pretty decent distribution. We're going to miss a couple here and there. But if you look over here, you'll see that the bonus damage for every color turn gem changed. That's because in the game, when you use an entourage that increases a specialty gem type, it also increases the bonus damage. So we started at 350,000, but we added Bret Hart, which is 100% more color turn gem damage. So 100% more of 350,000 is the same thing as multiplying by 2, and we get 700,000. So we take this 700,000, we multiply it by 27, because that's how many are on the board. We're going to do 18.9 million damage flat. To that, we are going to add 2,820,720 for the finisher damage for the first part of the move. The second part of the move, we're going to deal the same amount of damage. And then for the third part, we're going to assume no cascades and break all of the color turns. All right, so we're going to do 437,337 multiplied by 27. So an additional 11.8 million. That means our finisher is going to do, that's way too much. Oh, I see what I did wrong. Hold on. 18 million plus 2820720 plus 2820720 plus 437,337 times 27. Our finisher is doing 36 million damage. We're doing 36 million damage at 6-star gold, full stars, 390 levels into him, and the Punk's Gauntlets, which is a relatively uncommon piece. This ain't it at 6-star. Now, at 2, 3, and 4 stars, the bonus per color turn gem is going to do enough damage to get you through. So you will be able to use that moveset all the way through 4-star just fine. You're going to do enough unblockable damage generally to pin your opponent and at the very least keep the opponent down, if not straight up KO the opponent in the first place. All right. But as you can see, as you go up through the levels, you're getting diminishing returns. So at 5-star, you open up a new moveset, and let's talk about that one real quick. Okay. And the moveset that you open up is because you gain access to 2 new moves. At 4-star, you gain access to the No Noise move. And the No Noise move is deal 535,000 damage, make 12 rando gems into multiplied gems of strength 7. And there's a hardcore component to it. If opponent's class is Showboat, deal another 535,000 damage and increase your green gem damage by 100% for 1 turn. Okay. Which is decent. This is an activated move buff. Again, if you don't know what I'm talking about, go back to my mostly definitive gem damage guide, and I define it and go over it. And then at 5-star, you gain access to the Sidewalk Burial. Sidewalk Burial is a finisher, deals 2 million damage, and paints the entire board into green gems. All right. But we still have some of the same problems. We need 7 MP to run with the green moves, and then we still have a 10 MP finisher. So we've got to figure out some sort of clever way of getting this filled. All right. And my preferred way to do this is actually play him like I played Donatello. So we're going to add a couple of zombie coaches here. Both of these were available for free. So we got Gunther, blue gems do 40% more damage, multiplied gems do 60% more damage. And then we are going to use Zombie Chelsea, green gems do 40% more damage, and multiplied gems do 60% more damage. All right, so over here, we're going to adjust our percent trainer bonus, goes to 70. Okay, our plates go to 0, especially gem trainer goes to 0. Multiply strength is 7, and then we know we're going to break 12 multiplies. Our multiply trainers, it goes up to 120. So now we're going to know that our green gems do roughly 157,000. If it has a multiply on it, the base damage goes up to 212,691. When they have X7 on them, the total gem damage will be 1.4 million. And if you break all 12 of them, you're getting 17.8 million damage from those gems alone. Okay? Now, I'm going to run this real quick, and then I'm going to talk about the entourage. We are going to change the plate. Sorry. And anything that increases green gem damage or multiplied gem damage will be fine here, or all color gem damage. I'm going to use the Buzzard's Beak. We're going to use 2 green moves, and they're going to fully resolve. So you're going to trigger this twice. You'll get 100%, because it's whenever you activate a green move, increase your green gem damage by 50%. We're going to proc this twice. This will be 100%. You could also use the Ministry Plate, which I don't have on this account yet. Whenever you make 6 or more multiplied gems, increase your gem damage by 100%, or the Jade Plate, whenever you make 10 or more multiplied gems, increase your green gem damage by 100%. Both of these would be viable. But I'm going to go with the buzzard speak because it's more accessible. We're not changing anything else here. You could theoretically change this to a green move damage if you want. You're not going to get a significant boost out of it. And I like boosting finishers anyway. So let's run this and then we'll talk a little bit about the entourage and the theory behind the entourage and what you could and cannot do with it. Okay. So over here, like I said, this reminds me of a Donatello kind of situation. So I'm going to throw the multiply gems out first. And if we look over here, we can see that I'm missing something. It's the plate. The single activation puts us at 50%. And I'm still missing something. Oh, because it's a 7. Right, here it is. 1.649 million. Okay? So this is all tracking so far. Now, when we have our second green move, this will jump to 100 and everything will change and we'll be up to 1.8. This is a dangerous board now that we have multiplies on it. We only have 11 little ticks of the pin bar to work with, and we need 9 blue MP. So the easiest way to do it, actually, is to take this multiply gem, make a 3 match. So this will be 7, 8, 9. This will be exactly what we need. We have a little bit of space left over. This is kind of a razor thin situation. And then we hit the finisher. And the finisher is going to do 5.6 million damage after all the associated move buffs. And then we're going to paint the board. We're breaking 11 multiplies. So we're going to get... so here's the move damages. 5, 6, 4, 0, 7, 2, 0. That's the finisher move damage. Plus 19907. 337 for the 11 gems. And then we're going to add to that. There are 49 total gems on the board. 11 of them are multiplies. So you can take 11 from 49 and get to 37. So it's 37 gems multiplied by 2035, 22. We're still only going to have about a 33 million hit. Give or take a little bit. Before cascades. Cascades will increase the damage, of course. Yeah. It is also a little underwhelming when you think of the fact that this is a 6-star gold fully maxed. I think this is going to be a little bit more effective than the color turns at 5-star. Maybe. But this is the 5-star moveset that opens up to you. And multiply gems are always very strong. Now, the first thing I want to do is I want to talk about the entourage, and then I want to show off the hardcore move, because the hardcore move starts getting kind of spicy. So there are things that you can do with the entourage to increase the damage, of course. One of the things that you can do is add Howdy. Howdy throws 6 more multiply gems, so you're putting more multiply gems on the board. More multiply gems is more damage, okay? You're not changing anything else about the entourage, but you're adding Howdy. The reason that I choose to do this is I don't want to put Hogan in here, because Hogan is what is necessary to get safely loaded the 10 MP blue move. All right. So instead of having Hogan, which adds no damage, I'm adding Howdy. If you had Hogan, you could then start putting Striker Live here to increase your multiply gem damage. But I think adding more of them is actually a larger net increase of damage. All right. And then you can't put Leo here. You could swap this out with Leo, but then you'd have to swap Zombie Chelsea with Hogan again. All right, so it starts getting into a very fine line of what works best. And I got to be honest, I did all of that, and I'm still sitting at 35 million gem damage on this moveset. All right, so I don't want to spend too much time. I just wanted to address it. Now, There is a hardcore move. The hardcore move is against showboats, and it is a pretty good. Oops, it's a pretty good move. All right, it starts getting significantly better. This moveset, so it turns him into a specialist. No, I'm going to leave Howdy in there just so we can see how large it'll get. All right, but we are adding total multiplied gems, so we're adding 6, so this will be 17. And then we're going to have to adjust our gem defense as well, so we'll do that real fast. Perfect. It's actually the same. Well, not quite. 42.76. This will get us accurate. And then 49.61 also gets us accurate. All right, cool. So it's the same move flow. We're going to toss out the multiply gems. We're going to break 1 multiply gem and 2 other blue gems. So we're lined up here just fine. However, remember this is a hardcore move. If opponents clash a showboat, deal some damage, increase your green gem damage by 100%. So I'm going to drop this over here and activate it buff. All right. That puts all of our green gems over here at something didn't trigger the right way. Cool. Why did that not trigger the right way? Oh, sorry, it did. Activated move buff right here is right there. And then when we get into the multis, it should increase significantly up to 3.4 million. All right. So we're going to go into our second green move here. Click and click. This will load our finisher. We change our plates over to 100%. We're still working with strength 7s, but we have 17 of them. So now, when we activate this move, we're going to see a pretty big difference. All right. Plus, we know that we're going to do roughly 613, 61550, 61 million in multiplied gem damage. All right. Plus, since we have 17 of them that are broken, 17 minus 49 is 32. So we're going to take the 405613, which is after the activated move buff, multiply it by 32. Gives us another 12.9. Now we're up to an 80 million hit. Much, much better. Now, you can only use this on showboats. However, if you've got a pretty gnarly showboat that you got to deal with, here you go. 80 million damage is fine. Now we're talking on a B tier. But it's only against showboat, and that is a pretty significant knock against him. All right. The 6-star moveset is probably his best moveset, and this is going to be kind of wild. I mean, I don't have any other way of describing it other than this is kind of wild. All right. So let's go in here and let's change him around to his 6-star moveset. And his 6-star moveset is going to be based around his purple moveset. And really, I'm going to be real honest. It's just his sub. That's it. It's just going to be his sub. All right. So the 6-star move that you get is the Rotting Leaf. Submission, generate 46 random submission gems and do 5 million damage for 3 turns while submissions are on the gem board. This is big. for a submission. This is fully into super submission territory. And then we are going to use the Scorching Headbutt to load it because this is 8 MP and I don't want to use Santa, okay? So we're going to be using Sami Zayn here. Purple submission moves do 100% more damage per turn and 2 more MP. All right. We're going to use Woods for 4 more purple MP. We're going to use Logan Paul for another 50% submission damage in 1 more turn, which is huge. And then we're going to use my VA for another 50% more damage per turn, and purple submission moves last 1 more turn. So now we're up to 5 turns at 15.2 million. This is insane. This is an insane amount of damage. All right, that's where we're at, multiplied by 5. It is a 76 million damage sub. That's it. You know, I am going to swap the belt out, but the belt doesn't matter really for this. It's just a straight up super sub moveset. You'll see that I have the new Kofi plate, but this doesn't work on subs. It just works on moves. I've switched everything over to takedown 2s and purple move damage. It doesn't matter. I've got 150% move damage trap. It doesn't matter because none of that damage works on subs. All right. Yeah. Yeah, I don't really have much else to say. This kind of is what it is. To get started with the most submission move damage I can find, you use the Scorching Headbutt. And I know I haven't talked about any of the other purple moves. It's fine. I'll get to it. You just need to make a 3-match to load the sub. All right, sub loaded. Here we go. Bang, 76 million damage. 76 million damage is a lot of damage from a sub. I don't know how many times I can say it or how differently to say it. This is going to be incredible for so many people once they get him 6-star, because this is big damage. It's only reversible by submission reversals. So, 2025 zombies and the 90s era cards immediately come to mind. But outside of that, there's not a ton of submission reversal. 76 million is more than enough to usually put somebody down. And if it's not, it's a submission, you're decreasing their MP by 5. This is such a smooth and simple kind of move flow. You can adjust the entourage as necessary. If you just want to start with the sub and click the sub twice, it's up to you. Okay. But this is how I would do it. And how I probably am going to do it. Just north of 76 million damage once you account for the purple gems and the purple move. Cool. That's super cool to me. So that's the 6-star moveset. That's what I would recommend people use once you get into 6-star. There is one other moveset. And this is, I don't know where you would use this moveset other than maybe the new Titan mode. Full disclosure. It's a weird moveset, but I feel like I need to talk about it. So this finisher is actually pretty big in its own right. So it's the waist-to-waist slam, finisher, deal 2 million damage, and then 5 million bonus damage for every player turn that is passed, including the current turn, for up to 10 turns. Now, I know that we are in a turn 1, turn 2 meta, so this is never really going to skyrocket, but it could. And then 2 million is a pretty decent base amount. Okay. It's 10 MP, but this Scorching Headbutt that I didn't really talk about is 535,000 damage. Choose 10 gems to make into purple gems. It's a self-filling move, and your only limitation is going to be your pin bar. Well, there's stuff that we can do with this, okay? So let's switch the entourage around a little bit, and I'm just going to go all in on move damage. There are some rarer cards here. There are some newer cards here. I get it. This is really just kind of showing off a weird little thing about this. You can see that your submission damage just plummets. Okay, we're doing 525,000 multiplied by 3. We're only doing 15.7 million for the sub here. But we're not going to use this sub. We're just going to kind of go through this, you can see our finisher damage is up to 7 million. And on turn 1, you're going to add another 5. All right, so that's 12 million damage. And then all of this makes sense. You're 150% for your strap, 40% for your takedown 2s. Could be 100% with takedown 3s. And then here's the Kofi medal. Whenever you activate a purple move, increase your purple move damage by 100% for 2 total turns. Let's check this out real quick. And this is why I think it is primarily designed for Titan. There's no way of increasing his bonus moves other than taking turns. And I'm assuming the Titan, you're going to take more than 1 turn. I really do. So here, this is a 7 MP move. We're just going to break 7. We're going to do 4 million damage and break 7 purple gems. And we're going to trigger the plate once. This will increase all of our move damage by 100%. Now from here, there's a couple of different things you could do. If you wanted to, you could use the sub. That would also trigger the plate again. I'm just not going to do that. Now we're up to 4.6 million. We're going to use this move again. But we're not going to choose any gems. And then we're going to go over here, and now our finisher is up to 19 million plus 5. That's interesting. That's an interesting little moveset. Pair this with 15 million plus some safety on the sub, and get an extra turn for your move damage buff, and get an extra turn for your plates to start proccing. Now you're into some really interesting game mechanic territory that is not useful for a showdown or a boss battle, or maybe useful for boss battle, maybe. But certainly not showdown, and certainly not feud. But it is a cool little mechanic, all right? And I just wanted to show it off. Sheamus is an interesting card. For the most part, I don't see anything that's too useful about him. You're certainly not going to use any of his gem damage setups in Showdown or Feud unless he's a CSS and you're targeting showdowns or targeting showboats. You may use him as a budget green shield breaker in boss battle. Maybe a budget damage dealer in boss battle if it's color turn or multiply gems or something like that. But nothing really significantly so. Maybe if the boss battle is submission move damage, I think I remember seeing one of those, you might use this Sheamus. But really, Sheamus for me is going to be that 1 to 2 click, do a ton of submission damage. When you get him dimed out, he's going to do 75 million in submission damage, and away you go. And that's awesome. That is super cool. I really like that aspect of him. But that kind of turns him into a one-trick pony. And then this weird purple moveset that may be useful in Titan. I don't know anything about Titan, so I can't really tell you. So, I don't know. Interesting card. Looks great. But the entourage ability, his gem damage setups leave a little bit to be desired. His submission move is world class. And I can see a lot of players really leaning on this world class submission to really help them out. Especially when you start thinking about other modern acros that are in the game and the availability of the modern acros in the game. Okay, cool. All right, guys. Well, I hope you've learned something today. I hope you've been entertained by something today. Or I hope you just like the sound of my voice. If any of these 3 things are true, do me a favor. Click like, click subscribe, share to your faction mates, and I'll talk to you next time.